Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to go straight into our subject today, which is one that really requires a certain level of solemnity. We were actually asked specifically to maintain a somber tone for this one, to not try and uplift, but just to sit with the material. Our mission today isn't to find solutions or techniques for getting over grief. It's really just about recognition. We're looking at the raw, nonverbal sound of loss, and our source is an incredibly powerful essay called The Sound That Breaks Through. It's by Pedro Malha, who's the founder of the Ghosts movement.
And for you listening, this essay really provides a shortcut. It helps you understand grief not as some abstract emotion, but as a physical, almost seismic event. Malha forces us to look at it as a bodily response. He challenges that common expectation that loss should be handled with some sort of quiet dignity.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The first observation he makes is it's immediately unsettling because it's so counter to what we expect. Grief isn't quiet. In fact, its noise, the sheer volume of it, is often the first thing that really disturbs not just the person grieving, but everyone around them.
That's so true. We have a script for, quiet tears, maybe some hushed crying.
Oh.
But the sound Mala's talking about it's different. It's a sudden, almost brutal force. It's disproportionate to what the person intends. They're not trying to make that sound. And yet it just tears through the breath, it fractures the voice, and like the essay says, it can literally bend the body forward. It's just completely unshaped, raw.
And the thing that strikes me is the embarrassment that so often comes with it. The person making the sound is alarmed by their own noise.
They are, and that's a huge psychological point. Mala explains that this shame comes from the body, producing a sound that feels closer to something animal than articulate. It doesn't sound like the self you present to the world.
That's primal.
Exactly. It's primal. It's loud. And this is really the core of the essay, that the sound isn't foreign. It's coming from a place beneath language, beneath control. It's the body's truth when the mind has no words left.
So if the sound is that raw, let's look at the internal mechanics. This is where it gets so profoundly physical. Sobbing, the way Mala breaks it down, is never just an emotion. It's this massive physical strain and a release happening all at once. It's exhausting for a reason.
A profound exertion, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about the physical responses he lists. The muscles around your ribs and your diaphragm just ache from contracting over and over again with those fractured breaths. The jaw tightens up, it trembles, and your face pulls into these shapes that, well, they feel completely unrecognizable.
And the sound itself, it's not just in the throat, is it?
No, not at all. It vibrates. Deep through your chest, up into your skull, you can feel it resonating. And that sustained vibration plus the shallow breathing, that's what leads to the lightheadedness, the absolute exhaustion that comes after. The sound itself uses a monumental amount of physical energy.
And the analysis here is just, it's so important. Mala suggests the body doesn't wait for the mind's permission. The mind might still be in denial, but the body, it moves to a deeper rhythm.
It's already releasing what it cannot hold anymore.
Exactly. The mind might be trying to rationalize, but the body has already registered the absence on a cellular level, deeper than thought.
And the sound is the proof.
Malha then makes this critical distinction, this specific sound, this eruption. It's not from general sadness, it's not from disappointment, or even a really profound heartbreak like from a betrayal. It has a single, very specific trigger.
And that specificity is what's so fascinating. The sound he's analyzing comes from one thing, death, from finality. It's the nervous system finally registering a permanent void. This is the grief of a breakup where there's still a possibility of something. This is the sound of realizing a presence that shaped your entire life, your rhythm, your future is gone. And it is not coming back in physical form.
So grief, in this context, is the body literally encountering permanence.
Precisely. It's the body trying to recalibrate itself to a world that no longer matches the internal map it has been living by. Imagine you have this piece of your core infrastructure, and then instantly it's just vanished. The whole system has to violently reroute everything. The sound is the noise of that system shock.
And the timing is so important, too. He points out that this deep sobbing, it often doesn't arrive when you'd expect, not at the moment of death, not at the funeral, when you're sort of performing.
Because that structure imposes containment. The body is wise. It holds itself together for those public moments. The release comes later, sometimes much, much later.
In those totally unguarded, ordinary moments.
Yes.
You know, like you're washing the dishes or driving a road you always drove together.
Yes, or you just stand in a room where they always were. It's a simple absence.
Yeah.
A smell, a stray thought to call them, and the sound just breaks through.
When that happens, people often say they feel overtaken, like they're losing control. But Mala offers this really powerful correction. He says the body is not losing control.
It's releasing containment.
Exactly. It held on for as long as it needed to for survival, for function.
And that point is so critical. The sound is not evidence of collapse, but of a calculated letting go.
Ah.
Your body has done a deep, unconscious assessment, and it has judged that this release will not actually destroy you. It's like a pressure valve. The body waits for a moment it deems safe enough, no matter how mundane, to finally let it go. That's the body's wisdom.
But there's such a duality there, because with that release, there's also just intense fear.
Oh, absolutely. The fear is real because the sound feels bottomless. You fear that once you start, you might not be able to stop, and you'll be pulled into a place you can't come back from.
And at the exact same time, there's this overwhelming relief. The relief of, as he puts it, no longer managing, no longer translating pain into acceptable shapes.
The emotional labor just stops. The sound simply is. It gives up trying to make the pain palatable for anyone.
Which brings us to a really important question. What about the witness? The person who hears this sound? If it's that consuming for the person grieving, what is the visceral impact on the observer?
Oh, it's profound. Malha writes that the sound of another's grief cuts through rooms and conversations. It's an alarm. And your body, as the listener, responds before your brain can even process it. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your own breath gets shorter. It's an immediate physical recognition that something devastating is happening.
And that response creates an immediate urge to do something, to intervene, to quiet the sound, to distract them.
Right. But the essay suggests that urge isn't just about helping the other person. It often comes from our own difficulty in just staying present with what the sound awakens in us.
That's a hard thing to admit. We try to stop it because it's a mirror.
It is. The sound of raw grief reminds us of our own attachments, our own vulnerabilities, that we will face this too. It stirs up our own ungrieved absences that may have been held quietly for years. The sound forces us to see grief as a shared human condition.
It's like the universal frequency of loss.
Yes. He talks about the ancient nature of this sound. It feels older than individual experience, like it predates structured language. Something deep in our DNA recognizes it as a signal that love has been severed.
And that sound can escalate. It can reach this other level, the grief scream.
An eruption, that's the word. It's devastation given volume. It gets pulled from a depth that feels almost violent. It carries the shock, the protest, the disbelief, all of it in one sound.
And for the person screaming, there's often no conscious awareness it's even happening. They're just voicing the unvoicable.
And that scream is not a mistake. It serves a function. It marks a threshold. It is the sound of the moment the weight crossed from bearable into unbearable. It's a final acoustic protest against an impossible reality.
Now, we have to talk about those who don't sob, not right away at least. Mal is very careful to include the experience of containment.
Right. Their grief might show up as numbness, or just profound exhaustion, a dull pressure. And that does not in any way mean a lack of love or a lack of depth. It just reflects a body that learned, maybe for survival, to use rigid containment. But the energy is still being spent. And the sound, he says, it usually arrives eventually, months, even years later. And it carries the same force. Because, as the essay states, grief does not diminish simply because it has been quiet.
And finally, there's this acceptance that there's no real progression here. Grief, in this description, it doesn't travel in a neat line. It doesn't resolve.
The movement isn't toward resolution. The movement is just. The nervous system learning how to carry love and absence together. It's a constant recalibration to a new reality. The absence becomes its own kind of presence that the body has to learn to live with.
So after all of this, what's the takeaway? The ultimate learning here isn't a technique, it's a form of recognition. We have to recognize that the body already knows how to grieve.
That's the core message. It's so powerful. The sound, whether it's sobbing or a scream, it is already sufficient. It's human, ancient, precise. It isn't weakness. It's not failure. It doesn't need to be cleaned up or made pretty. It is the body remembering what mattered and refusing to let that memory fade quietly beneath the surface of daily life.
Allowing the sound to speak is an act of total honesty. It's a declaration that love existed, that it left a mark, and that mark cannot be erased.
And so we're left with the essay's non-conclusion, the final thought for you to consider. Grief does not ask to be resolved. It asks to be recognized. The sound that breaks through is not asking for an answer. It is simply asking to exist, because in that existence, the bond is honored and the dead are not forgotten.